What's up, you guys? It's Zyrex back at another video. 20 now, winning them. Well, that shit was corny. Thank you guys for the support on the last video where I did a breakdown analysis on David on how he became the person he is. That video got a lot of views. I had 1,900. Y'all niggas went ridiculous. Okay, I did not expect that. But that was a very good video that I have made, and I am very proud of how it did. That was a very great video. We just basically broke down the psychology on how a person becomes like David. And today we are back with another video. This video is gonna be why are black people still Christian? Let's get into it.
Slave ships that brought black people to the New World was named Jesus. White Christians used Bible verses and Bible stories to justify slavery. There was a time when white Christians wouldn't baptize black people because they weren't sure it was okay to enslave Christians. They quickly changed their theology, baptized their black slaves, and forthrightly sent them back to the fields to work.
I didn't even know
black
that.
and white prosperity preachers have scammed millions of dollars from faithful black parishioners living in American
we've been
slums.
knew this shit.
It is an undeniable fact that Christianity has been a tool of oppression for black people all throughout the world. And yet today, black America—
Yeah, it's true. It's full of white supremacy and just wickedness, bruh. We should all know this already. Just look at our president. Our president is not even a Christian, but yet Christians stand up for this man. That should tell you something. White supremacy rules this country. And I think as long as people like us who want to fight against this agenda, we can thrive. My grandmother has been talking about this. We just had a conversation about black supremacy and Christians. And this video is going to be very interesting to react to because it dives straight in to the root of every single problem. White Christians use Christianity to control black people. That's all it is, y'all. White people just control the blacks by using Christianity as the forefront. It's just a bunch of religious psychosis filled people that struggle with their identity, and they feel like they don't have none because Christ is our identity. That's the reason why the world is stuck in so much evil.
Americans identify as Christians at a staggering 79%, higher than any other group in this country. So the question is, why are black people still Christians? And while we're at it, I actually think there's a more pressing, more existential question that needs an answer. Does God hate black people? In nearly every country, on every continent around the world, darker skin—
Obviously, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, what did he say about Esau? He hate that nigga. Straight like that. Nigga, he hate his own son, cuz. Come on now, be fucking for real, bro. He nailed that nigga to a cross. Who lets their son get beat the living shit out of, yo? I don't get it, bro. Cause if my son was getting cucked over like that, bro, he was getting that punishment, I'd intervene. He didn't intervene. He didn't have to do it. Just started off with a tree in the garden that you allowed to be put in there, and now your son gotta die. Why would you do that? Don't make no sense.
People are treated poorly by nearly every measurable standard. So-called black people are at the bottom of the social hierarchy everywhere. So much so that in majority black countries like Haiti and Nigeria, skin lightening creams are wildly popular. Anything to gain some proximity to whiteness and some distance from blackness. Africa is rich with natural resources, boundless human potential, unfathomable wisdom, and brilliant cultural traditions. And yet, colonial powers have pillaged, exploited, and divided nations and people in ways that are frankly irreparable, all without consequence. I mean, I don't know. You'd think that God would help us out a little bit. We've been through a lot, God. Maybe there's a Bible verse that we can look to. And the Lord will make you the head and not the tail. You shall be above only and not be beneath. Who is this verse about? Not only do black people identify as Christians at a higher rate, half of black Americans report attending church at least once a week. I was one of them. In fact, I was a pastor for a number of years. I've preached—
My nigga was a I didn't know that. Oh, he was deep in theology, bruh. Bruh, you know when you watch certain YouTubers, me, right? Well, you know when you watch certain YouTubers and you just do not know certain aspects of their life. Of course you don't, but this right here, this is surprising. Bro is actually a pastor, cuz.
all over the country and world. I've given Bible studies. I've baptized folks. I have been in it. And these questions have been nagging me for a while. So in this video, we're going to get some answers. I talked to a couple of people. One of them is my friend Claudia.
My name is Claudia Allen.
She is easily one of the most conscious people I know. She's well-read, tapped into history and literature, a person who is thinking about race, class, and power in very critical ways. But she's also a Christian, a preacher, and a committed member of her church.
There is no other people group on the face of the planet who has experienced the kind of suffering that is akin to the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ like Black and brown people. No other group.
Since she is well aware of what's happening in the world, I wanted to hear.
Notice how she didn't, chat. Notice how she did not say that Black people suffered more. Notice that, bro, boy. And she don't want to say that shit, because if she say that, oh, that's blasphemy, my boy. Even though something could be true and it still be blasphemy. Ain't that something, y'all? Ain't that's just goddamn. She didn't want to say that shit though. Y'all peep that.
Her reasons for keeping the faith. But I also spoke to Dr. Anthony B. Penn.
Well, my birth name is Anthony Bernard Penn, but most folks over the course of my life called me Tony.
He's a religious scholar, former pastor just like me, and now an atheist. And I think his perspective is important in this conversation.
Where is the historical evidence to support the claim that God is on the side of the oppressed? Right? What is the historical evidence that suggests God is on the side of Black folks in North America working on their behalf? Because every moment...
And I want y'all to understand this. I want y'all to just peep game. How much years did the Hebrews stay inside of Egypt? 430 years, right? Why did he wait that long? Same thing with slavery. Fuck going on? Y'all, it's like, bro, I see the problem, bro. Like, it's just humans helping other humans, y'all. That's all it is. No divine intervention. No man coming out the sky out of nowhere to just sweep all these niggas away. None of that shit. Just humans. It's us.
Of progress has been countered.
And if you stick around at the end, I'll share how I'm thinking about my faith today. So let's dig in. I first encountered Dr. Penn's work when I was in seminary. I couldn't find the exact article that I read way back when, but it essentially argued that there is no God. But if there was a God, he clearly hated Black people.
Does God hate Black people? I mean, I think that's an important question, a question that too many...
Also, I want y'all to peep game. Notice how a lot of these pastors been in seminary school, taught theology for years. Y'all, they leave the faith because they understand that it's bullshit. I want y'all to really open your eyes. I've been a Christian for 4 years. Spread the gospel to thousands of people, bro. Read the Bible 2 times in a row, y'all. Bring that shit at every single family reunion. Talked about them all the time. Gave people Bibles that didn't even know me. And it took a minute because your boy was still stuck in the system. He had to get out the system. But now that I'm out the system, I can see clearly. And it's truly, no pun intended, a blessing. I'm gonna keep it being. It is a blessing. I'm gonna keep it. It's better.
Black theists have ignored. Right? If you look at our experience, it is overwhelmingly tied to suffering. And true, all folks suffer, but this is disproportionate and unto death. And it ought to force us to raise the question. If God is loving, kind, just, and compassionate, and concerned with folks and can make stuff happen, and Black folks still suffer disproportionately, then maybe that God doesn't like Black people.
I'm gonna post it on a
Because white folks in general, right, as a group, seem to be doing all right. Black folks, as a whole, not doing so well. And forget about the kind of misery that Black women face. Or Black trans folks. I mean, forget about that kind of misery. Just in general, there is an overwhelming experience of misery. And again, if God is loving, kind, just, compassionate, concerned with folks and can make stuff happen, and Black folks are disproportionately suffering, then maybe God doesn't like Black folks. It's a question that's got to be wrestled with. And Black Christians in particular haven't wrestled with it because they read the Bible assuming they are the favored community. Right? They are the equivalent of the children of Israel. But if you look at our experience in the context of North America, you can make a reasonable argument, perhaps a more reasonable argument, that we are the Canaanites, the Moabites, the Hittites, the folks who get a whooping. Right? So it seems to me that...
Keep in mind, the Canaanites and all of them, they got punished severely. I mean, babies, children, wives getting took, people's daughters getting took, animals getting took, livestock, fucking everything gone, all because of some type of punishment they had to occur. The babies didn't do nothing. Okay, the babies didn't do nothing. That's the main problem. In 1 Samuel chapter 15 verse 1 through 3, no context behind it. The babies didn't do nothing, cuz. Nothing.
Is a question that is central, that has to be wrestled with, but Black theists have ignored it.
On the other hand, Christians like Claudia would argue that Dr. Penn is wrong and that the life of Jesus is proof that he is wrong.
The reason I would say there is a case for Christ as Black, as resin, and not necessarily racially, gotta be clear, not necessarily racially Black, but experientially Black. And that case is that this God put on human flesh, and when he was born in the midst of a genocide.
Y'all see how stupid that shit sound, y'all. I'm gonna keep it real, like, y'all see how stupid that shit sound. I know this is Trinitarian theology, by the way, y'all. This is what they like to call Christology. God became man. See how that shit don't make no fucking sense? Don't even say that in the Bibli, bro. That's the thing, bro. Don't even say that in the Bibli. There we go. I had to put this at 60 frames. It wasn't at 60
Egypt
frames.
With his parents as a refugee seeking asylum, to then grow up in a working class community of Nazareth, Black and brown people who were had no socioeconomic wealth or political position or station. And this brown man who hid in Egypt literally goes about the Gaza Strip teaching brown people about Creator God. He was disrupting the cultural system of not speaking to women. He disrupted the cultural system of not engaging with the unlearned. He touched the lepers. He healed the sick. And then because he did all of those things, he is falsely accused and he's arrested in the middle of the night. And we just got out of Easter weekend, right? They take him and he's literally before the Sanhedrin. They are desperately trying to pin him for a crime he did not commit. He dies in the middle of two criminals with the greatest, grossest execution known to human history. There is no other people group on the face of the planet who has experienced the kind of suffering that is akin to the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ like Black and brown people. No other group in human history. And what is fascinating about that to me, Garrison, is that Black and brown people make up 80% of humanity on the globe. A very small minority group is currently experiencing global power. And their lived experience is not that of a crucified Savior. It is that of a Roman and religious power. That is why we can say, like James Cone, that Jesus was Black.
I grew up in the West End of Atlanta, which means that for as long as I can remember, I've heard Hebrew Israelites and 5%ers and folks in the Nation of Islam describe Christianity as the white man's religion. This idea that Black Christians were essentially worshiping the God of their oppressor. And Claudia had something to say.
Because it is, bro. Catholicism is white man religion, bro. That's what it is, dog. A majority of Christian denominations is white man religion. Just saying.
the history of Christianity in Black or African possession?
I think everyone knows that Ethiopia has always been a Christian nation. But Ethiopia also was at this really important intersection of international trade. We get Ethiopia as this Christian nation because they had constant contact with the direct disciples of Jesus Christ, who were eyewitnesses to his life, death, and resurrection. But then even outside of Ethiopia, even if we go to Ghana with the Akan people, who also had their own creation narrative that is very similar to the creation narrative of the Hebrew scriptures, where they even named the creator God, the God of Saturday. Right? So there has always been this very present belief in the Judeo-Christian God on the continent far prior to the Portuguese first coming to take slaves in 1471.
And while Christianity has been an incredibly powerful and positive force in the Black community, nurturing our most progressive and effective voices, it's impossible to ignore the most regressive elements present in the faith.
Well, from very early on, Black church figures tried to publicly reimagine the position of Black folks within the context of the United States, yeah? So one of my favorites is Henry McNeil Turner. Henry McNeil Turner in the late 1800s in Atlanta, Georgia, argued that God is a Negro. Pause. 1800s.
Why my boy say
Atlanta,
pause?
Georgia. God is a Negro. He also argued that the flag of the United States is a dirty rag and will remain so until Black folks are treated properly. So you get these sorts of figures who are moving between the church and political life. He holds several appointments. Other ministers are moving into political office, and then you move through the decades and you get someone like Adam Clayton Powell Jr., right? So you get churches that are sure enough involved in the political process. And this was fruitful, one, because these churches were economically independent. So these ministers, by and large, could work for the well-being of Black folks without worrying about paychecks. The Black church was the first organization for and by Black folks. So the church becomes an easy mechanism Black folks could use to be involved. It gave them a theology that included them. They were made in the image of God. Yes, that Black folks had deep importance and significance, and provided them with opportunities to live that in public, both as individuals and as a collective. So the Black church has played that sort of role, but the Black church has played that role almost exclusively in relationship to race. So it hasn't dealt well with issues of gender and sexism. Forget about its ability to deal with sexuality. What happens to a trans population within Black churches, right? So they worked hard to try to get race, but we are not one-dimensional beings. We are not beings who are simply defined by anti-Blackness in terms of race. There are a variety of ways in which this society has tried to marginalize, if not kill us, and Black churches have been reluctant to address that. I think one of the shortcomings of Black churches, why they have not been willing to engage a much more expansive agenda, is because of respectability politics. If we look like white folks, if we sound like white folks, if we structure our individual and collective lives in ways that mimic white folks, they will have to appreciate us. So we've reached a point again where Black churches, the dominance of Black churches is being consistently challenged by pointing out its shortcomings. And we also have new vocabulary, new grammar, new ways of naming our positions in the world that are enhanced and spread so very effectively through social media. So Black folks know there are options. They know I'm a secular humanist and I'm not alone.
Why is that? Why are more Black people identifying as atheist today? Why is that happening?
Why are more Black folks identifying as atheists today? I think what is happening is a greater degree of comfort with naming what they have been. Black atheists and secular humanists didn't just pop on the scene recently. We have existed, but we've reached a moment in history in which the dominance of the Black church is being legitimately challenged, right? Legitimately challenged. And this has been more graphic over the past 3 decades with the spiritual but not religious, or those who claim no particular religious affiliation. The percentage of Black folks who move in one of those 2 directions is noteworthy. The dominance of the Black church has been fractured. In more recent years, I think some of that is a result of the ways in which Black Lives Matters, for example, has given us opportunity to rethink our engagement with the world and to rethink our meaning-making processes and to think Black life in ways that push against the ways in which Black churches have confined it. It's also the case that if you think in terms of hip hop, a major influence within the context of the United States, there has been a softening, a signifying, a rethinking of these dominant theistic themes. So Tupac is Black Jesus, the patron saint of thugs. Or on Crown, Jay-Z says you're in the presence of a king, scratch that, you're in the presence of a god. Or Kanye West says, I am a god. So you get this kind of rethinking that has been in place for a while, because the 5%ers, for example, argued we getting this all wrong because the Black.
Doesn't the Bible in the book of Psalms, chapter 82, verse 6 say ye are gods and children of the Most High? Hey, but what they say is you ain't God. I mean, yes, you is, my boy. You were made in the physical image of God. That means you share physical attributes to him. Because God does have a body. Look all over through the Bible. Okay. Come on now. He sits on a throne. Holds a scroll. Guys, come on now. There's no way that you guys believe that God is just uncorporeal being that cannot be seen by anybody.
And is God. This is where the Nation of Islam falls short for them. Nation of Islam says you're created in the image of Allah. 5%ers say no. We are gods, right? So there has been a softening, a reworking, a rethinking of these categories for a good stretch of time.
Okay, so confession time. I'm a Christian. You're probably not surprised by that. But I will say that I've gone through a kind of deconstruction. I don't like that term. I think it's a bit overused. But these, for me, are shifts and evolutions in my faith that often leave me feeling uncomfortable with all of the assumptions and baggage present in calling myself a Christian. Most of that discomfort is...
Same here. That's why I left. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? I think my new perspective is that we are gods, just like the Bible says, in that we are children of a higher conscience, more spiritual in a way, not gonna lie. In this, I'd say that's where I'm going towards. I've also went through a deconstruction last year. Well, not last year, no, this year. If you guys have looked at the video that I've made about leaving Christianity and why I left and religious psychosis and all that stuff like that, you guys need to understand, okay? There is evolutions that a person may go through. Either he walks through the path of going through religions and going through different type of teachings and all this stuff. But it's all here to make you a complete person. Because you learn things. If you've been in different type of areas before, you learn so much things that when you finally arrive to the person that you're supposed to be, you're going to love it. Be who you want to be, y'all. That's the ultimate destination of every single human being that is on this earth that has a different fingerprint. I love you all. Stay kind-hearted. Peace. And stay different.